Most people think that after a flea market, watches go straight into a collection. But honestly, that's not how it works. What you're looking at is a box, and inside this box are several months of hunting. Dozens of early mornings, hundreds of watches checked, hundreds of conversations with sellers, and dozens of purchases I still haven't had time to go through. The funny part is, I don't even remember everything that's in here anymore. After every flea market, I'd come home, drop my finds into this box, and tell myself, I'll sort them out later. Well, today is later, so we're going through it together. And honestly, I have no idea what's waiting inside. Maybe nothing special. Or maybe one of the best flea market finds I've made all year. That's exactly why I love videos like this. They're a surprise for me too. All right, let's see what we've got. Right on top, there's an Omega Seamaster Cosmic. And that's a pretty good start. Even after all these years, watches like this still get collectors excited. What's interesting is that a lot of newer collectors only chase modern watches, but vintage Omega pieces often have much better stories to tell. These watches were made back when mechanical watches weren't a hobby. They were something people relied on every day. People bought one watch and wore it for years, sometimes for their entire lives. And you can feel that history when you hold one in your hand. Next up is an Edox from the 1960s. Take a look at that dial. This is where collectors always start arguing. One side says, restore it. The other side says, don't touch it. And honestly, I'm still not sure who's right. Because sometimes original patina gives a watch more character than a perfect restoration ever could. So, let me know in the comments, would you keep it original, or would you restore the dial? I'm genuinely curious. And then, the Orient invasion begins. If I'm being honest, I've completely lost count of how many Orient watches have passed through my hands over the years. But every now and then, one still makes me stop and stare. And that's saying something. The funny thing is, a lot of people still underestimate vintage Orient watches, which is great for collectors, because some of these 1970s models have incredible designs, unique case shapes, beautiful dials, and movements that just keep running decade after decade. Take a look at this one. Original strap, rare bracelet, beautiful case, and most importantly, personality. That's what I love most about vintage watches. Not the most expensive ones. Not the most famous ones, the ones that have character, the ones that tell a story. Actually, let me ask you something. If you could pick just one watch from this entire box right now for free, which one would you choose? Drop it in the comments. I have a feeling everyone's answer will be different. And that's what makes collecting watches so much fun. Everybody sees something different. And we're only getting started. Because the deeper I dig into this box, the more interesting things become. And some of the watches coming up next are brands that many collectors completely overlook. Sometimes that's exactly where the best surprises are hiding. Take this Seiko. Not a brand most collectors get excited about. But look at that dial. Look at the bracelet. Sometimes the lesser-known brands are the ones with the most personality. And right next to it, another surprise, a Citizen. And honestly, Citizen might be one of the most underrated brands I find. Everyone is hunting Rolex, Omega, Breitling. Now look at these Amphibias. I swear these things follow me home. No matter how many I buy, sell, or restore, more always seem to appear. But I understand why. These Soviet dive watches have built a cult following. They're tough. They're reliable, and they're full of character. Some of these look almost polished already. But surprisingly, they haven't been touched. Just years of careful use. Now we've got an Orient chronograph, another Orient, and another one. At this point, I should probably start charging Orient rent for all the space they're taking up in my workshop. But that's the reality of flea market hunting. If you spend enough time looking, certain brands keep showing up again and again. Next up, Casio Edifice. Really cool model. Then a Festina. A Slava. A Seiko. And here's the crazy part. Most of these watches haven't even been tested yet. I honestly don't know what's running and what isn't. Some may need nothing more than a battery. Others could turn into full restoration projects. That's part of the gamble. And honestly, that's part of the fun. Every watch here is still hiding a little mystery. Then I spot something else. Movado. Actually, two Movados. Both waiting for inspection. Both waiting to tell their story. And that's what I enjoy most about boxes like this. They're basically time capsules. Every watch came from somewhere. Every watch belonged to someone. And now they're all sitting here waiting for a second chance. But trust me, we're still nowhere near the end of this box, because some of the most interesting pieces are still waiting underneath. Look at this, an Orient Grand Reserve. Beautiful watch. Definitely one of the pieces I want to restore sooner rather than later. Then we've got Komandirskie, another Komandirskie, and another one. At this point, I think Soviet watches are secretly multiplying when nobody is looking. But every one is different. Different dial, different case, different story. And that's exactly why people collect them. Oh, a Jaguar. This one still needs testing. And sometimes watches like this end up being the biggest surprises. You never know until you open them up. Next, a Raketa multi-calendar. Always a fun find. These watches have such a unique look that you can spot them from across the room. And right beside it, a Slava Pepsi. Actually, two Slava Pepsi watches. Love them or hate them, they definitely stand out. Then we've got another Edox, a Sector, and honestly, that's one thing I love about these boxes. You can jump from Swiss watches to Soviet watches to Japanese watches, all within 30 seconds. It's like traveling through watch history. And here's something else you'll always find on flea markets. Copies. Lots of copies. Some are terrible, some are surprisingly convincing, and a few are so ridiculous that they're actually entertaining. Sometimes I almost keep them just because they're funny. Now look at these oversized Festina watches. Every time I see one, I'm reminded how wild watch design became in certain years. These things are huge. And we're still not done, because outside this box there are more bags, more boxes, more Orients, more Seikos, more Citizens, more Swiss watches. There are Tissot's, Poljots, Molnias, silver watches, and plenty of pieces I haven't even inspected yet. Honestly, I think I have more restoration projects than free time at this point. But that's not a bad problem to have, because every watch here has potential. Every watch here could become a future restoration, a future video, or maybe even the best find of the year. So now I need your help. Which watch from today's box should I restore first? Which one was your favorite? And which one would you have bought if you found it at a flea market? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. And if you enjoyed this type of video, tell me that too, because this is only one box. There are plenty more waiting. And who knows, maybe the best watch I've ever found is still hiding in the next one. See you in the next video.